I probably need to drop it pretty soon here because I'm going to hopefully be in Detroit for a long time. But I have this thing with our local media where like they almost like relish in negativity at times, and maybe that's what gets clicks and that's what sells. But it's no longer what they need to live in. Like, right. Hey guys, like we have a good team. We've had success. Like, we can be happy about that. We can celebrate that, and not have to write about how like we're constantly the underdog. Like, no, like teams are going to be gunning them for us now. Like we won the division and all that. And I'm probably overthinking it in my head just because it's the chip on my shoulder and the competitor in me. But in that moment, I was just giving that guy a hard time. I actually really like him, but
I think that's great.
I literally have no idea what he's talking about.
I do.
You do?
I do.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
He's talking about how we are as fans here. We are so whipped and beaten. So what he was saying, what I think he was saying, what he meant was, we can't help but be negative. It's the way we are. It's the way we've been brought up. As Lion fans, you went to one NFC championship game in your entire franchise history in the Super Bowl era until last year. You didn't win a Super Bowl. You haven't been to a Super Bowl. People were like, what? What do you mean you haven't been to a Super Bowl? No. We're one of 4 teams that have not been to a Super Bowl. We're the last remaining original, actually, besides the Cleveland Browns, who were reborn as an expansion Browns team. How are you not bringing that up when you're interviewing Jared Goff? Hey, Jared, we're doing great, but you know what? We've never been here before. You know what? We've never had a guy take us here that much anymore. That's all I could take out of what he's saying. I don't think anyone is saying, hey, you stink, we stink. No, we won 2 playoff games last year at home and came within a couple of minutes of getting to the Super Bowl. But I believe media here in Detroit, all of us, there's not a positive guy here. There's not. Because look what they've given us in 60 years. Look what they're giving you. That's what he means. That's what he's feeling, at least. Because even me, I can't get over the hump of saying, yeah, but I can't help it. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what Jared Goff is thinking when you hear, well, you know, they're still negative here, and they're thinking like this and they're thinking like that. I think basically it's true, but I got advice for him. The truth part of it is exactly what Matt's saying. Like, even now, after they got to the NFC Championship, what did you hear? Dan Campbell should have did this. They shouldn't have did this. Josh Reynolds has butterfingers. Well, when they got blown out by the Baltimore Ravens, Jared Goff can't pass the ball outside. What happened when he lost to the Bears? So I think he's an individual that focuses on bad things. I think he utilizes them and he uses them for motivation, and I think he needs to get out of that space. A lot of it is true. You know, we're still talking about, is he the guy for the job after winning 2 playoff games? There's a lot of people saying, you know, should you have gotten a player here? Should you have done this? We're always going to ask that or analyze that because we're fans and we're analysts. That's our job. Their job as players, which used to be my job, it is no longer. Their job is just to play the game. Stop worrying about what analysts are saying or what reporters you don't like. You don't have to read it. Just go out there and do your job.
Can I just say, first of all, people say the dumbest stuff on podcasts.
We just talked about it yesterday.
I think for the most part, when people get on podcasts, they're trying to say something that is going to stick out. And I think that's what that was. I think maybe he really believes that. I don't know. I've lived here my whole life. I'm 45 years old. I've been a Lions fan my whole life. I understand the negativity. I don't think I read of, let's say, the last 100 stories I've read in the last 18 months on the Detroit Lions, 85% of them are glowing, positive stories on the Detroit Lions. Tell me I'm wrong. Maybe you get a couple of, and I don't think it's negative to attack the final decision by the head coach to not kick a field goal. I don't think that's a negative thing. I think that is what people do when you debate, did you make the right call or did you make the wrong call?
Those are Monday morning quarterbacks.
I don't think that's being negative. Did we want Jared Goff replaced the minute he got here? Yes. Did we want him replaced after a 3-13-1 season? Yes. Did we want Jared Goff replaced after a 1-7 start or a 1-6 start in year 2? Yes. But after they went on that run and during the run of an 8-2 start and all off season leading up to the win against Kansas City,
It's been all positivity.
85% of the stories on the Detroit Lions have been positive. Maybe even that's a low number. So I don't subscribe to this Lions media is negative. Maybe you get a beat reporter. Maybe you get a columnist that asks a question that you don't like, maybe. Okay, that happens. We're all human. It's part of the job. We're all trying to write stories. We're all trying to get clicks. We're all trying to get paid.
Right.
Everybody's trying to get eyeballs on something. You're trying to write what sells. Maybe that does sell. You get one article here and there. Does anybody want to pay Jared Goff $55 million? Most people don't. That doesn't mean we hate Jared Goff. That just means, you know what? Not really how you go about building an NFL team. You either got a Hall of Famer or you got, a rookie guy,
Right.
rookie contract guy. That's 9 times out of 10. That's who is going to win the Super Bowl or make the Super Bowl. If you've got a guy on a rookie contract, quarterback on a rookie contract, or a Hall of Famer, very few times is that quarterback an in-between guy. So, I mean, I just think it's wrong. I think it's false. I don't think there's ever been more positivity when it comes to the Detroit Lions or any other franchise, by the way, in this city than the last 18 months of the Detroit Lions, coverage of the Detroit Lions. In fact, I would venture to say last year, let's just take the last 12 months. The last 12 months of stories regarding the Detroit Lions may have been collectively the most positive stories, the best goodwill coverage that any franchise has received in Detroit in 30 plus years in this city. Overall, from beginning to end of a season. I mean, I think back of those going to work Pistons, and they'd get hammered for the Eastern Conference Finals losses and
Nets, Pacers.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Wings, the coronation season in 2002 perhaps was probably pretty darn good, but it was you better win the cup now. You got 25 Hall of Famers on this team, so it's a kind of a do or die situation with winning the cup, and that was more of a relief than it was,
Overjoyed.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's when you win and you feel relief.
Maybe this is how he gets himself pumped up.
And
by saying what he said.
And that's what I said.
Yeah.
You take it with a grain of salt because it's said on a podcast. Everybody says dumb stuff on a podcast.
You don't think LeBron, all these guys, Kareem, Michael Jordan, you don't think they take people's comments and I'll show you? That's how athletes are.
Yeah,
Braylon, that's how you are.
We saw that in The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I took it personal. 100%. I agree. He uses these things. He uses them as motivation. I mean, there are some truth to some things. It's probably, maybe it's the stuff about J-Mo. Maybe he doesn't like what he hears about J-Mo. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You don't have to live in that world. The world you live in is the world where you're 12-5, where you're the Kings in the North. You won the championship last year, or at least you won the division. Excuse me. You won the division last year. You got a team that might be better than it was last year when you got there. So don't get on these podcasts and let me point out. This is him getting a chance to address the media in Detroit for things that have happened probably not even last year, not even like you said in the last 12 months. It's probably an article here, an article there. It's probably a tweet here, a quote there, but mostly stuff from when they were 3-13-1 to the team that time they were 9-8. But this is his first time talking, and he's getting it out in the open. So if that's how you had to get it out, congrats, you got it out. Now move on.
He's obviously friends with these guys, Wilbo Trading Cards. He's there. He's relaxed. They know him. I think they've interviewed him in the past.
Yeah.
So he's comfortable. He's just chilling out.
It's like Aaron Rodgers sitting with Pat McAfee.
Right. He's sitting high on the hog, man. He's sitting there like, I'm going to make $150 million here.
Right.
I reinvented myself. So What's he got to do? Throw a little stuff out there on Detroit.
And I'm not mad if this is it. If he's there at one time, he had to get it out of
I'm
school.
not
You know
mad
what? It's
either.
fun. I
He's
like
going to
it.
have to answer to this. We're
But
going to have Dave Burkett on a little bit. He's going to have to answer to this. I'm interested to see what Dave Burkett would say.
Wojo and Carlos
Yeah.
and all those guys are going to be.
Yeah, I want to hear what he says.
It's going to be interesting, too, because is this a thing with Jared Goff like it is with Brad Holmes? Brad Holmes gets up there, and he gets to talk, and he gets to remind you. He hasn't done it. Brad Holmes hasn't done it once. He's done it on numerous occasions, reminding you of things that the media has said, or things that people and journalists have said.
Dan Campbell, too.
Dan Campbell, too. So I wonder if this is just their thing. It works for him.
Even in Kuma says, y'all at Woodward are the chill ones, too. No need to get defensive over comments. Probably more so directed at 97.1. And I understand that, too. Like, I mean, look, I don't. Maybe they see I'm sure they see our clips because all these guys are on Instagram and all social media, and we are a social media company. So perhaps they see our clips. We know players have seen clips.
Yeah.
Thanks to some of the relationships that we have in the building
They
here.
also
But
hold those buffoons, too.
absolutely. But I got to even say, like, you'll never hear me defend 97.1. I'm not here to do that. I'm sure they have some hosts there that take shots, whatever. Even Mike Valeni, okay, Mr. Negativity, King Negative, Mike Valeni has been nothing but positive about the Detroit Lions for the last 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact.
How do you not be positive?
That's
about
what
that?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I just don't even understand what he's kind of talking
I'm wearing
about.
my Lions gear in Florida last week.
Right.
Yeah.
People come up to me. We were really rooting for you. Keeneland,
Yeah.
I'm wearing Lions gear. Man, we loved you. We were really rooting for you. You guys should have been in the Super Bowl. I'm talking women and men. If you're wearing Detroit Lions gear, you are beloved now around the country. Mm-hmm. We are truly becoming America's team. It's amazing. I love it, and I'm here for every minute of it.
It's so funny now because obviously I never played for the Lions. I'm from Detroit, but never played for the Lions. Played for 4 other NFL teams. I almost feel guilty now if I wear a Jets jersey on the show.
Yeah.
Or a Jets hoodie.
Well,
or
look
a
what
Jets
they do to
t-shirt.
me when I wear different
And I
teams.
played for the Jets.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing a Lions hoodie right now. I didn't even play for them though, but that's the support that you get from the city. I mean, hey, he got it out. He got it off his chest.
Tony says, yes, I am trying to get the chat more involved because you all say you want the chat more involved. So I am trying my best to get the chat more involved. My guy, Detroit Dabber, says, yeah, Ryan, cherry picked that one. I don't know what you're talking about, Dabber. My head is so busy when I'm doing this show. For me to add this chat into the mix now is like is like ADD on steroids, okay? I look down, I see something, it's constantly scrolling, and I'll read it out. Tony says, Pat Caputo, Rico Beard, Carlos Menares, Chapman Rieger, by far the worst. I mean, I'll take your word for it. Ever since we got this into this job, rarely, I might dip in once in a while on my way home, but that's it. Maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Max. I don't hear any of those other guys. I mean, big ups, Ermanni. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I'm trying. We might need to open up the phone, says Python Knight. Well, we're just trying.
Let's open them up.
We're trying.
They work.
Do they work?
They work.
Mike, you know how to do that? You good?
I'm sorry.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
I can't hear. I'm sorry. I don't know if he. What did he
I'm
say?
sorry.
He could take a phone call.
Oh, he could take a phone call?
Yes.
What the hell? 313-552-6322. 313-552-6322 if you want to call the show. Feel free. Lou says Ryan can read.
Lou.
Barely.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah, but
Got some,
a lot of
some
people.
mouths in the chat.
Absolutely, but a lot of people have a lot of different comments about who he was talking about. I mean, and maybe it's one instance. I don't know. I know there was that Wojo interaction during the playoffs. I forgot
remember that one.
specifically what it was about, but I think he told Wojo to take a chill pill or something like that. Maybe that's what he was referring to. I don't know.
He also said he liked the guy.
He's got a history though.
Yeah.
Cause he did. Like they had a little talk about it, but